I never believed photographs could hold anything more than memories. But that changed the night I found an old digital camera buried in a thrift store bin. Dusty and still warm like someone had just put it there. I bought it because it felt oddly familiar. Event Oak, ID, never seen it before. And Bacom, when I started scrolling through the pictures, I felt a cold ripple crawl across my spine. Photos were mostly random shots of empty rooms, dim hallways, and street corners at night. All completely ordinary except for one small detail I didn't notice at first. In every picture, hidden deep in the shadows, was something shaped like a person standing just barely out of focus, as if watching the photographer from the darkest possible spot. And the more I zoomed in, the more I realized it wasn't a person at all, but a distorted silhouette with long, uneven limbs and a head tilted too far to one side, like its neck had been snapped. When my thumb accidentally tapped to the next image, I realized the shadowy figure was getting closer with each photo, moving little by little. Sometimes only a few inches, sometimes a full step, and by the last picture on the memory card, it was standing directly in front of the lens, close enough for the flash to catch pale. Wrinkled skin stretched tight across a long, hollow face, with two empty sockets where eyes should have been, and a mouth hanging open like it was inhaling. I shut the camera so fast it nearly slipped from my hands, but that wasn't the part that broke me. The part that broke me came a few minutes later, when the camera, now turned off, clicked by itself. The shutter opening for half a second like it had taken a picture of something in the dark room with me. I'd lived in that apartment for almost 5 years, and never once felt scared inside it. But that night every shadow felt alive. Every window reflection made me flinch, and every small mechanical whir from the old camera sounded like breathing. At first, I tried convincing myself it was just malfunctioning, maybe damaged, but around midnight the camera began flickering on and off by itself, projecting random photos onto its tiny screen. Except these weren't the photos from the memory card, they were pictures of my apartment, taken from impossible angles, like from inside the closet or behind the bathroom door, or from the foot of my bed while I was sleeping. My chest tightened as I realized the timestamps were from the last 2 hours. Each time the screen flashed a new image, the rooms and the pictures got darker, the shadows cutting deeper, and that same figure tall, crooked head cocked to the side appeared in each frame. Sometimes standing behind me, sometimes crawling halfway out of the ceiling corner like gravity didn't apply. Tu Italiano? I threw the camera into a drawer and wrapped it in 2 towels to muffle the clicks, but the clicking didn't stop. It kept going like tiny footsteps tapping inside the drawer, and I swear I could hear something moving around in the dark cloth. Not big, but fast and restless, scraping against the plastic casing like fingernails. I tried sleeping, but every time I closed my eyes, I felt something watching me from the corner of the room, just beyond the lamp's weak reach. And I could almost sense it leaning forward every few minutes, like it was learning the way I breathed. Around 3 a.m., I heard a soft thunk by my bed. When I reached for the lamp, my hand brushed against something cold and smooth. And when the light came on, I froze. The camera was sitting right beside my pillow, completely uncovered, even though I had locked it inside the drawer across the room. That was the moment I realized running wasn't going to fix this, but I still tried. I grabbed the camera with a towel, shoved it into a backpack, and drove 30 minutes to a public dumpster behind a grocery store, tossing it as far inside as I could. And for a moment, I actually felt relief. But when I got home and opened my front door, the first thing I noticed was the faintest sound, a soft, delicate click from my bedroom. Whisper quiet, but unmistakable. I stood frozen for almost a minute, terrified to go inside, terrified to stay out. And when I finally forced myself to walk down the hall, the room felt colder than the rest of the apartment, like all the warmth had been sucked into some invisible pocket. The camera was sitting neatly on my bed again, not scratched or dented from the dumpster, just waiting like a pet that had found its way home. I didn't touch it this time. I just stared at it as the screen lit up on its own, the faint glow showing a single new image. Me standing in the doorway, exactly where I was right then. But behind me, and the picture towered that figure, close enough that its jaw hung right above my shoulder. Inches away, its mouth stretched into a long, thin oval like it was silently screaming at the back of my head. My body went numb. I spun around so fast I nearly fell, But behind me there was nothing. Only my empty hallway. Quiet and still. That's when I understood something. Whatever this thing was, it didn't exist in the normal world, not fully, only in the captured fragments of it, using cameras the way spiders use webs, hiding in the spaces between shutter clicks, stepping closer each time someone viewed its image. That night, I packed a bag and left the apartment without a plan, driving until sunrise. And I checked into a small roadside motel where I stayed awake for hours, fighting sleep, afraid that the minute I let myself drift off, I'd wake up with that long face hovering over me. I thought maybe distance would weaken it. Maybe leaving the camera behind would sever whatever connection it had formed. But around noon, the motel manager knocked on my door, holding a small box, saying someone had left it at the front desk with my name on it. My stomach sank the second I saw the handwriting my own. Written in a shaky scrawl I didn't remember making inside the box was the old camera, perfectly still. No clicking, no flashing, like it was waiting for me to pick it up again. I didn't touch it, not this time. Instead, I called every paranormal forum, every occult hotline, and every weird corner of the internet that claimed to understand supernatural attachments. And one user, with a profile picture of a broken lens, sent me a long reply. It doesn't follow the camera follows you. The first time you saw it, it saw you back. I didn't sleep that night either, nor the one after that, because every time I closed the curtains, tiny flashes of light pulsed through the fabric like a microsecond camera flash. Soft but unmistakable, and each flash came with the faint clicking sound of a shutter, growing louder every time, like it was getting closer, like whatever lived inside that lens was stepping out of its world and into mine. Picture by picture, moment by moment, I stopped looking in mirrors, stopped glancing at windows after dark, because every reflective surface became a doorway I was afraid to look through. Terrified I would see that long, crooked silhouette standing behind me again. But the worst part wasn't either visions, or the flashes, or even the fear. It was the realization that the demon wasn't trying to kill me. It was trying to document me, piece by piece, angle by angle, collecting me the same way it had collected whoever owned the camera before. And the more photographs it took, the more present it became, until eventually I started seeing movement in my peripheral jerky motions, like someone stepping backward into the corner just before I turned my head. I think it's almost free now. Last night, the clicking wasn't coming from the camera anymore. It was coming from the ceiling above my bed, crisp and metallic, like a shutter pressed by an invisible hand. And tonight, as I write this, I can hear it behind me again, closer than ever. One slow click every few seconds, like it's waiting for me to turn around and let it take one final picture. If you're watching this on your phone or your computer, do me one favor, don't pause the video. Don't rewind. Don't screenshot anything, because that's how it spreads. All it needs is one still image of you. And during the last minute of this recording, when your screen flickers just a tiny bit, that's not the video glitch. That's it, choosing where to hide next.